Okay, so this last question is bringing in the idea of Simpson's paradox to just as another example. We saw one earlier in the chapter, but here we go. So did a higher percentage of Democrats or Republicans vote in favor of the act? Find these percentages. So if we're taking a look at the number of Democrats that voted in favor, well, let's just give it up at the top. We have 162 Democrats that voted out of the 248. So for the first part, we're talking about Democrats. We have 162 out of 248, which is approximately 65.32%. Okay, and this is for the Dems. Okay. And then doing the same thing over here for Republicans, we can go through and get out. So it was 138 out of the 172. Okay, so we end up with 80.23%. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward part there. And so if we take a look at the next part, it's saying for us to go ahead and organize the information in the tables below. So just based on what we have originally in the top part, it means that we have 80% approximately of the Republicans voting in favor of the Civil Rights Act and 65% versus the 65% that the Democrats did. So if we go to organize the data in the table below, so we're looking at the northern states here. So in the northern states, we had 154 Democrats total. Okay, so that's the first part, so 154, of whom 145 voted in favor of the law, of the act, so 145. All right, so in those same states, there are 162 Republicans. Okay, so 162 is our total Republicans, of whom 138 were in favor of that. And so for this thing, we do have enough information to go ahead and complete the table. So if I add up the row here, I get 283. And to complete this, I'm missing 9 right there for against and 24 in here. And there's a total of, there's 33 over here and a total of 316. Okay. And so now when I'm taking a look at this thing, that's just filling in the data on there. We'll take a look at analyzing that in a second. And for the southern states, we're going to do something similar here, except for this one, it says that we have, let's see, in the southern states, there were 94 Democrats. So 94 Democrats. 7 voted in favor of it, which means that, we'll fill it in later. But let's see, in the same states, 10 Republicans and 0 voted in favor of it. Okay, so filling in the rest of the table, I have a 7 here. That means that there were 10 Republicans that voted against it, and 87 Democrats that voted against it. So looking at the totals on the margins here, I have 97 and a total of 104 for both groups together. Okay. So it says find a way to present a counter argument to your findings in question A. Well, in this thing right here, we can take a look at by region in the north. Okay, in the north, we can see that we had 145 of 154 Democrats voted in favor. That's 94.16% of Democrats. Okay, in that same area for the north here, for Republicans, we had 138 out of 162, which is approximately 85.19%. So that's of Republicans. Okay, so that's for the north. If we're talking about the south, okay, we do the same kind of breakdown here, but we're taking a look at, in the south, 7 of the 94 Democrats voted in favor of the act, so that's 7.45% of the Democrats. Okay, and then for Republicans, we had 0 of the 10 representatives down there voted in favor of it. Republicans. Okay, so when we take a look at the whole picture in terms of all the people that were voting in this in favor of this act, there were a higher percentage of Republicans, the 80.23% we found at the top versus the 65.32% for Democrats. But when we take a look at the individual regions, we can see that in the north, 94.16% of Democrats voted in favor of it versus 85.19% of Republicans. And in the south, we have 7.45% of Democrats versus 0% of Republicans. So this is an example of taking a look at what your totals are. What are your groups that you're considering? So this is definitely an interesting idea, and it's an interesting way to present different information depending on what point you're trying to get across. Okay, I hope that helped.